For those who competed decades ago, speeding down highways, through towns, country roads. For those who sat watching on the sides of the street, who found solace in chaos and thunderous speed. Even for those who grew up without the sights and the sounds, and live without race cars shaking the ground. Who don't understand why racing appeals to our fascination, wonder, and the way that we feel. A purpose-built place to camp and spend time with friends, watching racing together until darkness descends. Though no longer do the streets rumble and roar, there's a place just for this, a park to explore.
A road racing circuit before the assault. The 4 twisting, beautiful miles at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For 6 brutal, ear-shattering hours, its serenity will be violated by the raw power of screaming racing machines. It's the famed end-of-season endurance classic, the Road America 500. The specially constructed race circuit at Elkhart Lake at normal speed is a scenic 4-mile drive through fall-tinted Wisconsin countryside.
Hidden by forests near Elkhart Lake, not a path nor a trail, but a road meant to race. In a town too quiet, the refuge we seek, Road America, the racetrack, the national park of speed.
Most drives through scenic parkways are taken slowly, admiring geography and the scenery. For one of those parks near Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, the goal is to pass the trees as fast as possible. They call this place the National Park of Speed, and it hosts the 12th round of the Outsider Racing League Championship in 2021. Welcome to Road America in the beautiful Kettle Moraine region of Wisconsin. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Sim TV. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian DeCuna tonight for our final road race of the 2021 Outsider Racing League season. Finian, always look forward to coming to Road America, one of my favorite racetracks, local to me now. I cannot wait to get these things rolling around here. Road America, one of the best racetracks for IRL, for sports cars, and for NASCAR.
Yeah, this track is really yet to put on, I think, a bad race on Sim TV. Every single race that we've seen at this facility, no matter the type of car, we've seen sports cars, we've seen Indy car, we've seen, and especially we've seen stock cars quite a few times, including tonight. Looking forward to seeing these guys slide around here. The last race that, if I'm not mistaken, last race that we're here with this group of drivers in ORL, they put on a pretty good show. Looking forward to seeing what they can produce for tonight. 4
miles around this 14-turn road course here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It all starts with a run down to turn number 1, Finian well over 170 miles an hour. Hard onto the binders, down to second or maybe third gear if you're being conservative. Through the right-hander kink into turn 2, then into turn 3. The run down to turn 5, one of your best passing zones.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be want to keep an eye on that corner, particularly for tonight. Then heading up towards turn 6 and 7, got to watch for a lot of guys going off the track. 2 particularly tight corners there, heading to turn 8. Then the carousel, want to particularly keep a nice line through there, because then you got to head towards the kink.
The kink, one of the fastest corners on the racetrack, and it is one of the narrowest as well. Through there in third gear, then up to fourth, all the way through Kettle Bottoms into turn number 12. Canada corner, the northernmost corner on the racetrack, then the left-hand kink through turn 13, and then turn 14 back onto the front straightaway. Qualifying already underway here tonight. And having a look at the weather, Finian, it's a little bit gray and cloudy out there. Track temp is also pretty low. That means that there'll be a lot of grip out there available for these drivers, or at least more than there normally would be on a hot and sunny day.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be definitely looking forward to having a lot of that grip, especially, heading through a lot of these high-speed corners, wanting to use up as much grip as possible, and especially coming down to putting the power, 750 horsepower, down to the asphalt to get these guys going.
There's Zach Carr in the number 37. We've got a couple keys of the race to go over. One of them, I'll give you a hint, is about the road ringers. And while Zach Carr is also won on ovals here in the Outsider Racing League, you have to look at his success on the road courses. Think back to Mid-Ohio a couple years ago. He beat Tom O'Gorman, who is a professional IMSA road racer, and Mid-Ohio is his home track. Well, Zach Carr beat him at his own game there. So I'd expect Zach Carr to be one of the fastest drivers here tonight, except there's one driver that can throw a wrench into that, and that's this man right here, Finian, Riley Thompson.
Yeah, Riley Thompson, we've known his road course talent. We've seen him many times in TV across many different vehicles, and especially in stock, you see him trying to vigorously warm up his tires, heading down into turn 1. I think he's just having a little bit of fun there as he goes falling off. Currently sitting on provisional pole. I wouldn't be surprised to see that stay, but really the entire top 3, I would say any one of those drivers has got a solid shot at winning this race.
And Bryce Caluso we should mention, because he has also been on top of the standings at some of the road races we've been to. Think back to Road Atlanta at last season. He's going to be one to watch. But thinking about the road tracks that we've been to already this season, Circuit of the Americas back in February, that was Riley Thompson's race that he won. Then it was at Watkins Glen. We had Jeff Wright return to victory lane. So will it be a repeat winner, or will it be one of our other drivers to make it to victory lane here tonight? Liam Sheen in the number 1. He's also got some road racing prowess. We'll see where he qualifies. About 2 minutes and 10 seconds around here on a flying lap.
Yeah, you see as he gets up to speed, up and over the hill for the number 1 machine. He comes flying across the line. Is this a timed lap? Indeed it is, up into 3rd.
Yeah, strong effort for the number 1 of Liam Sheen. Puts himself on row number 2. Jeff Wright is out on the racetrack. He is rolling through turn 13 right now. Winner from Watkins Glen, and I would say that Road America and Watkins Glen are in 2 different categories for me in terms of road track spinning. Watkins Glen, faster, more momentum based. This track is all about point and shoot around here. I think that this track will play into Jeff Wright's hands just as Sonoma does, even though that track is a bit more of a handling racetrack. There are some sections around here where you have to be very on the edge and balance the race car. Jeff Wright does not improve. He will stay 5th.
Yeah, and even put us in the key to the race is really watching the tires, and not so much through the corners. Is really just about when you're using your right foot and getting the power down, not spinning the tires out. Because believe me, if you're too aggressive on that, you're going to be sliding on all over the place towards the end of the run. So that's going to be a big thing for these guys to manage over the course of the race.
And this race will be 28 laps. We'll have a stage break on lap number 10. In just a minute, we're going to set the grid and turn them loose for those 28 laps. Only 12 of our 21 drivers have actually made a qualifying effort. Is that a surprise to you, Finn? It seems like we always see a handful of drivers not qualify. Is that the strategy that you would take?
Really not, because again, we do have one planned caution, but other than that, there are no cautions really that we should be seeing, unless we have probably some massive pileup on lap 1. That would probably be the only exception to that. So, besides that, we don't really have the chance of a caution. So, passing unless you really have a lot of pace, it's going to be kind of hard to come by if you're towards the back. It's going to take you a while to work through the entire order. So you really do want to make sure you do get a qualifying lap, especially getting a clean one. That's the big kicker.
Well, Riley Thompson got the cleanest and fastest, a 2:10.220. That was 0.3 better than Zach Carr. They will share the front row here at Road America, the National Park of Speed. 28 laps, as I mentioned, for our 12th round of the season. We only have 2 races until the chase. And Finney, in the points battles, while for the majority of the drivers near the top, they've sort of been sorted out. You have to look a little bit deeper in the field. It's pretty tight around where Jeff Wright is. Zach Carr, Liam Sheen, Robert Gaba, Clifton Cockrell, all only just single-digit points away from each other.
It is really getting close, but I'm also still looking at the top. Ryan Carwell, he's been the understated driver of the season just for how consistent he's been. He's been leading. He hasn't outright there dominating the races, but he's been just hanging around the middle of the top 10, just clicking off solid, consistent finishes, and that's why he's been leading the points for, I think, the last 5 to 6 rounds up in the top of the standings. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep that consistency up during the chase. He may have a shot at the championship without even getting a win. We talked about how many different winners we had this season. Could be seeing another one here tonight as well. But it's just amazing to see how he's been understated up near the top of the standings. I'm curious to see, again, Bryce Calusa, second in the points coming into this round, if he can get a win and also start to close that gap just a little bit.
The only repeat winner so far this season is, there's 2 of them now. There's Zach Carr and Adam Cabot, who have each gotten themselves 2 victories on the season. For the majority of the rest of the field, just 1 win. We'll head down to the racetrack now. We'll have a full pace lap here, Finney. It's plenty of time, but let's go over our starting lineup. On the first row, it's going to be Riley Thompson and Zach Carr sharing that front row.
Yeah, moving on back in row number 2, you find Liam Sheen in the number 1 machine, and also Bryce Calusa in the 20. We were just talking about starting in 4th, with Jeff Wright in the 2 in 5th, Ben Laughter in the 64 in 6th.
In row number 4, Bailey Turner starts in 7th, Brandon Bowers in 8th, the number 31. Matthew Close and Chuck Sweeting share row number 5.
Moving on back, we find Jonathan Hernandez in the number 19 starting in 11th place. Steve Lovely next to him in the 18 car in 12th. Ryan Carlisle, your points leader, coming to tonight in the 71 in 13th place. Clifton Cockrell next to him in 14th.
In 15th place, Charles Wembley in the number 99. Eric Hutton starts in 16th, and Casey Lakatos and Ray Massey start in row number 9.
Yeah, Massey, last week's winner at Atlanta, so he's going to be starting all the way back in 18th. Then we find Robert Gaba in 19th, David Mott in 20th, and rounding out your field of 21, Joshua Collins in the 76 car.
Watch the 71. He's got his wheel cranked all the way to the right. I'm not sure if he realizes that. As he pulls away, he found a way to get it unwound. I was waiting for that car to hit the fence, but thankfully he did not. All right, let's go over keys to the race here tonight, Finney, and very simple ones this evening. It's the last road race of the season. If you're a road ringer like Riley Thompson or Zach Carr, now is your chance to strike and get even more wins in the W column. But road ringers, I think that's the key to the race for me, is watching this front row. I think those are the two favorites.
Yeah, definitely the two favorites. Again, Bryce Lewis is sitting in 4th. Also another one to keep an eye on. Those guys are going to be, you're the ones, as you mentioned, just the ones to watch in general, who's got a shot at winning this race. And then we're also talking about the tire saving. Got to keep those tires, got to preserve them. That's going to make you fastest over the long part of this race, and that's really where I think the race run is going to come down to. Who's going to be abusing their tires the most?
So tire management is always a discussion on the road courses, but specifically at Road America and Watkins Glen, it seems like it's really easy to burn up your rubber here, just because you're accelerating and braking in so much and from such high speeds. We're heading down towards turn number 5. Typically, you'd be entering this corner at well over 170 miles an hour, going from 4th gear all the way down to 2nd. It's really, really easy, especially on the opening lap, to lock up and make a big mistake here. So everyone's going to have to be real cautious on that first lap.
Working the way through turn 5, and you can see who's going to potentially jump the gun. We're talking about lap 1 incidents. I feel like turn 5 is usually the place you look forward to, because someone wants to just dive in there just a little bit too much and might end up, especially in a stock car, if you dive in a little bit too much, you're going to go in way much and maybe cause an incident. So here's to see how that's going to play out, and maybe see 2-3 wide heading down there.
I agree. Turn number 5, probably what you have to watch out for the multi-car incidents. The corner that I'm waiting for, though, the one that probably will be the most single-car incidents, is this corner right here towards the end of the lap. That's turn number 11. That's the kink. Going through there very, very fast. As soon as you tip a tire off the racetrack, Finney, and all bets are off. It's hard to keep it on course. Once you do that, there's a big concrete wall. I got the chance to drive at Road America and inspect Miata last August. Or last September, rather, and as soon as you exit the kink, the entire concrete wall for about 300 feet is just covered in black marks. So it is a treacherous corner, to say the least, and it's one that could catch you out pretty easily.
Yeah, and in fact, for the Washington region SCCA Vera race here recently with GT3 cars, quite a few guys went flying off the track in the kink. And again, those are GT3 cars that are expected to handle through a corner. You have stock cars that are not typically expected to handle through a corner like this, so you got to be ever more careful coming flying through here at speed, and maybe just keep the car on the black stuff. And again, you dip that one wheel, you're going to go for quite a wild ride.
Having a look here at our weather information before we take the green flag. Again, it's pretty temperate here today, 75 in the air, 82 on the racetrack. I'm sure that's a lot better than if it was 115 out there on the racetrack. Just a little bit of a wind from the south, giving you a bit of a tailwind here heading into Canada Corner. So, time to go racing for 12th time this season. Thompson and Carr sharing that front row. Liam Sheen and Bryce Calusa second. The Jeff Wright, the most recent road course winner, starts in 5th in row number 3. 28 laps if we go green from start to, well, we're not going to go green from start to finish. We have that caution at lap number 10. Mostly green. It'll take us about an hour and 1 minute to complete this race. Probably be closer to an hour 10 with that yellow flag. 4 miles times 28. Pace car peels off, and now we have to wait. This long run up the hill. And there's the green flag. We're racing at Road America, the National Park of Speed. Zach Carr really struggled to put the power down here. Here comes Jeff Wright up the inside of the number 2. Carr chucks it into the corner. The 2 car tags the 20. Calusa's going to spin. It's Calamity in turn number 1. 2 cars sideways and off course.
And a big favorite already out in the gravel trap. Again, we do have that caution, so he's going to be banking on that to reset the order. But yeah, even Jeff Wright as well. Again, walking the winner at Watkins Glen. He's also on the back foot. And a lot of these guys struggling to get on the power on that start.
You know, we saw so many drivers just struggling, the cars wiggling and wobbling all over the place, putting power to the ground. Riley Thompson leads the way into turn number 5. Zach Carr was able to gather his machine back up and stays in 3rd. Big dive up the inside for one car in the background. I believe that is the 18 of Steve Loving. Let's have a look at Ryan Carwile, the points leader, back in 10th.
Couldn't quite get it done. He's actually now under attack. He's getting passed by the 99 machine. That is Charles Wimbley, who's going to work his way around. Ooh, and a car off the track just up the road. I think that was Brandon Bowers who made a trip off in turn 6.
It was the 31 car. He's going to have Wimbley look to the inside here in turn number 8 now, but tucks back in line. So a frantic start. 2 of our front runners, Calusa and Wright, all the way at the tail of the field. Riley Thompson is now just setting the pace at the front with Liam Sheen in behind.
We'll see how far he can break away, or if the other guys are going to stay in until he flies through the kink for the first time.
And everyone being very cautious through their big slide for Chuck Sweeting. A couple more drivers being pretty cautious through there. Brandon Bowers.
Well, yeah. Just got the pass done. Carwell was trying to get alongside him, heading out of the kink. Couldn't quite get alongside, so he's going to tuck back in behind. Bowers moves up one spot, trying to recover positions that he lost on the initial start.
So Riley Thompson leads the way. Now we'll see if he can pull away from Liam Sheen in that one car, or if Zach Carr can run them down. Right on board here with Liam Sheen on the front straight. Watch the speed climb. 181 max speed going into that first corner.
Yeah, and really this is going to be the big thing, is how much of these guys, especially in behind you, how much are they saving, trying to just preserve those tires over the long run, or if they're really just pushing and showing their stuff. I know I just saw Zach Carr, he made a huge amount of time up on Liam Sheen heading to turn 3s on his back bumper.
Now in the slipstream, the draft will help here quite a bit on this long back straightaway, but I don't think he built a big enough run to do anything with it. Unless he pops out of line and fakes it, but he won't. He'll stay in line for the braking zone.
Yeah, and again, it is very early on, especially to be making some dive bomb moves, so I see guys be trying to be a little bit more patient with it. Also in behind, too, is Ben Laughter up into 4th place after the chaotic incidents down to the first few corners. He's got a shot potentially breaking to the podium if he keeps this up.
Yeah, Laughter is typically pretty decent on the road courses. We haven't really talked about him at length, but he's always in the top 5 or close to it, and right now running 4th with the opportunity to advance. Steve Loving has found his way off course at the exit of turn number 6.
Yeah, it's a particularly tricky corner in stock cars. Just rides the curb and catches the bump, and around he goes.
Curbs will get you around here. They're pretty gnarly. Be real cautious about that. Ryan Carwile and Brandon Bowers still scrapping for 9th.
Carwell able to work back around Bowers, so let's see if he can try to break away. And actually look like Bowers, he had another little off-track trip. That put him back there. Here's Zach Carr on the back of Liam Sheen, going to get very close to his back bumper in Canada corner.
Oh, he pressured him, and Sheen slips on corner exit. Now side by side up the hill towards turn 13, excuse me. Riley Thompson loving watching this in the mirror, and Sheen hangs onto it.
And even Ben Laughter loving it as well. He's been able to close in. So it's now a 3-way battle for 2nd place, and Sheen looking like he's struggling to get going at his car. His car is putting a lot of pressure, and he's falling prey to it.
Larger gap this time for Riley Thompson, a 2:11.3 to a 2:12.8 for the 2nd place car. And Sheen going defensive down the front stretch.
Again, trying to not give him the slipstream. It helps quite a bit for these stock cars, and his car is going flying through the corner, keeps a nice and tight apex.
Whoa, really tight again into turn number 3. Jeff Wright, I have off screen. I didn't see what happened to him, but I don't see him on the racetrack anymore.
Yeah, he ended up leaving the servers. I'm not sure if that was of his own volition or if he had something happen or if he crashed, so I'm trying to get an update on that.
Well, all this battling for 2nd has let Thompson grow his lead to 2 seconds. Matthew Close and Jonathan Hernandez nose to tail here heading into turn number 5.
Was able to get away from Hernandez just a little bit. We turn 6 now.
These cars are so awkward through the turn 6 through 8 complex. They just don't like to go that slow. You have no aerodynamics to lean on at all. Again, we're running the low downforce setup, so even in the fast stuff, it doesn't help you all that much. But it's all mechanical grip, of which these cars don't have a ton of. So really struggle to get the car rotated at low speed without over-rotating.
Yeah, it's a big issue, and we've seen quite a few guys already struggle in the opening laps of this race, just struggling to get the power down through those corners and just keep the car on the track. And I'm just really amazed as you look more at this battle between Carr and Sheen, is how much Sheen is, or I guess how early Sheen is braking, or just how late Carr is braking, as they've almost made contact with each other several times in these opening laps as he's trying to catch back up to him.
Well, it's the old saying of slow in, fast out. It seems like Liam Sheen is taking advantage of that sort of driving style, and for Carr, I mean, you can't get on the brakes that much later without locking him up, so he's sort of on the total limit of the car, so as soon as he gets in too hot, he has to end up kind of bailing out of the corner, and that's hurting him more than I think it's helping him right now. Look at Charles Wembley and Bryce Calusa. Calusa on that recovery drive after getting turned around in the first corner.
Yeah, for him, it's just a matter of just trying to make up as many spots as possible before that caution flag waves, and imagine everyone's going to come down to pit road and get fresh tires, and then it's really going to be game on from then on out. So he's just trying to get past the 99 Wembley's for 13th place.
Keeping an eye on our race leader, gap actually came down a little bit last time by. Sheen was 2/10 better, was the quickest driver on the racetrack last time by. So as we watch this battle for 12th heat up, keeping my eyes on that number 1 car because he's pretty quick.
Yeah, even Zach Carr was quicker than Riley Thompson last lap too, so they're starting to close back in on each other yet again, which is exactly what we want to see. These top 3 go at it.
Keep an eye just behind. There's Bailey Turner, looking like Adam Cabot tonight, based on that livery. And no Cabot in the field, but Turner running the Lawn Tech colors on the car tonight.
Doing really well for himself just inside the top 5. Looking to see if he can try to catch up to Laughter and get past him. And Turner, we know he's also, while we don't really consider him a road course ringer, does very well on the road courses.
He certainly has had some pretty decent runs there. It's closing in little by little on Ben Laughter in the 64 just up the road. Riley Thompson is just on a mission right now to drive away, but I'm really impressed with the pace that Sheen's got. He continues to reel him in here. So you have to wonder, is Riley Thompson beating up the tires? Think back to Circuit of the Americas at the beginning of the season, as we got a battle for 9th going on here. Riley Thompson made the tires last at COTA, of all places. That was probably the hardest course that we've ever had on tire wear. But Thompson seems like he's burning his stuff up early tonight.
Yeah, I have to keep an eye on it and see if that is the case, because if not, Liam Sheen looking to be sitting in a very happy place, because he's been, if not catching, been keeping touch with the leader. So once you imagine the tires finish burning off of the 56, he'll start to creep in more and more into the picture. Last lap through, though, Sheen was slower by just a little over 0.2 of a second.
Charles Wembley on the 99 losing a spot here to the 28, or I think the 28 actually might have a slowdown of some sort. Calusa goes through.
And Calusa's still trying to work on the 99 and Wembley, not able to get by him. He's been getting some really good runs, but just nowhere to really go.
Really, these races tend to play out in the longer runs. So this is the sprint right now. You're going to see what you've got. But I think the real test of how good your car is going to come into play at the tail end of the longer run that we've got, starting at lap number 13 or so. Wow, big tank slapper by the 99 in the brakes. He's going to let the 20 go by. He's got a battle for second again.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Oh, leader off. Thompson off into the gravel trap. In turn 8, going to come back on, and now here comes Liam Sheen with a head full of steam.
And around the outside, battle for the race lead here at Road America. Sheen takes it away after a mistake from Riley Thompson. Let's go back and see how he found himself in that scenario. I think he just overcooked it.
You're talking about, this turn 6, 3 being particularly tough for stock cars, especially the braking down into turn 8. You have to brake so early for the corner, a lot earlier than you think. And for Thompson, just a slip of judgment cost him a spot.
We'll see if he can get the, wow, the 24 was in the dirt through Kettle Bottom's area here, chasing the 64. It's a 5-car fight for the lead here at Road America. This is what road racing brings with stock cars. Fantastic racing from first back to fifth in its purest form. Liam Sheen, Thompson, and Carr the front three.
A great battle for this top 5 here. Now we can get to see what Liam Sheen, what he could potentially do, being in the front of the field. If he could potentially start driving away now that he's got some clean air.
Kind of curious to see how much that's worth. Clean air versus following, a second and a half back.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if it's not necessarily worth not really the dirty air, but more so just not having a guy in front of you to potentially distract you, and you can focus more on your line. Although, as I say, that Thompson made a huge amount of time up in turn number 1, so this could be short-lived.
Zach Carr almost put the car off in the dirt. He was on the edge of control there at the exit of turn 1, that's for sure. And first place, it's far from over here, Finney. We've got 4 laps until our stage break, and it's hot and heavy here at the front.
Good to see you again with these guys. I imagine being teammates for this particular race. If they're going to play nice with each other or play dirty. See, heading down to turn number 5.
I definitely don't want to make enemies before the stage break because they can get you back. If you're going to make an enemy, make them late in the race when they can't retaliate. Now that Thompson has sort of recollected himself, he's hitting his apexes a lot better than Sheen is. And just hitting your marks and racing the racetrack is a surefire way to stay on the racetrack. If you start racing other people, you're going to end up off the racetrack. I think Riley was maybe driving in the mirror a bit too much earlier, and that's what happened.
Yeah, that's the big thing that's going to cost you, especially in the key braking zones like turn 8, like Canada Corner, where you really need to nail those right if you're going to be heading in there hot and heavy. And otherwise, you're going to go flying off the track. But Thompson's still keeping in touch. Whoa, goes flying, gets a little bit of air as well, heading through the kink.
Yeah, up on top of those exit rumble strips. Always a scary moment getting yourself up on the painted curbing at the exit of the corner. You put all the load on the tires that are on the slipperiest surface. That painted curbing is concrete. It's a lot smoother than asphalt, and it's covered in this very slippery paint. You do not want to load the car up there and get the tires off course. You want to keep it on the asphalt as much as possible.
Well, so did we mention what happened to Bailey Turner?
No.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if we mentioned it or not, but Bailey Turner went off the track in turn 3. He went for almost a loop. Had an excursion off into the grass, brought it back on, was back in 8th place. You can see he's got passed by Chuck Sweeting. As he goes off a little bit again, he's in behind Carwell, Hernandez, and Chuck Sweeting up ahead.
Seems like he's struggling just a little bit now. You see this battle for 6th place with Hernandez. I'll make that 5th with Sweeting, Hernandez, and Carwile. Oh, that's late on the brakes for Hernandez, but he's going to stay tucked in line. We go back up to the top spot.
Yeah, Thompson did a great job into the braking zone of turn 3, up right against the back of Liam Sheen, trying to get a little bit of a draft and see closing in just a little bit, maybe enough for a little bit of a dive. Going to peel it to the left side into turn 5. It's going to be Sheen that gets on the brakes a little later.
Wow, can he get the car slowed down though? He does, nicely done. Great defensive driving by the 1.
Yeah, and not even a wobble too. You've seen a few guys like Wembley before. You saw him wobbling under the brakes, trying to get the car low down, but Sheen, that was perfect. His shots was a little bit of a slide out wide in turn 6.
Really, these races, I think, in a stock car specifically, are sort of won in the braking zones. If you can brake later than somebody else and then still carry speed through the corner, you're going to do well, especially if you can do what Liam Sheen just did, defend yourself from an attacker who is, at least right now, a little bit quicker.
Thompson there we saw almost just lost position to car. With Thompson poor eggs out of turn 8, that's been his Achilles heel this race, it seems. This car was trying to take advantage, couldn't quite get it done on the carousel.
As the race goes on, you're going to get braver and braver into those high-intensity zones like the kink. And one step over that line is all it takes to ruin your day and somebody else's.
Ooh, pass for position between Turner and Carwell heading to Canada Corner.
Whoa, Turner's on the brakes really late there. He's going to slide in front of the 71, crosses him over. And Looks like the 71 will concede for now.
Oh no, it looks like 24 is going to go off the track.
Thought he was going to concede, but he didn't.
Turner was just trying to get the car set up for the next corner, getting on the right side, and it got loose while he was doing that.
Yeah, just got up on the curbing again. Loaded up the tires on a slippery surface. That never works. We go back up to the front. These three are just in a procession. Thompson gets a really good run here. What does he do with it?
See, he's going to try to make the move by turn 3. I don't think he necessarily wants to do it then. It's a great run out of turn 3 here. I think this is what he wants, though. He wants to get the run down at turn number 5. Get it done here on the straightaway.
This should be pretty cut and dry pass here. We'll see if Sheen can defend again. Again, later on the brakes.
Yeah, Sheen's been really good under braking. He's been doing a phenomenal job getting this car low down. I think that's the problem with Thompson. He's going to need a really good run considering how good Sheen is getting this car low down. You're talking about it. You're winning these races in the braking zones. That's exactly what Sheen's doing at the moment, keeping the 56 and the 37 car at bay.
Well, push is going to come to shove at some point because we're 3 laps to the stage break. Here comes Thompson. A look up the inside for turn 8. Maybe just a distraction tactic for the 1 car. But with pressure from the 37, that's going to up the ante here for Riley Thompson. He does not want to sit back here because he can lose 2nd place with the 37 car so close.
Yeah, almost did a few laps ago. He's going to go wide just a little bit. He's going to open the door for car. Doesn't have an opportunity to stick it up the inside there. Whoa, you see both of them get a little bit yawed out.
And balancing on those tires, you know you're coming down in 2.5, 3 laps to change them. So if you've got rubber left, use them. Good run through the kink for the 56. Where is he going to go with it? Here he comes.
And the car looks like Sheen's going to pick to the right side. Looks like that's where Thompson wanted to be, so he's not even going to get a chance to peel out and make a move.
This is great driving by the 1 car to keep the 56 behind him. This is an all-out assault by one of our road course race winners from earlier in the season. And Sheen is not cracked under the pressure just yet.
This is some great stuff here. These are guys absolutely going at it, showing a ton of respect. I hope that continues for the rest of the race, but being stock cars, you never quite know. But yeah, this is some fantastic racing amongst these 3.
Thompson with another really good run here, though, on the straightaway, but he's just not close enough to do anything. And the tricky part is Sheen is so much better on the brakes that Thompson just gets there and then he can't do anything once he's there. As Brennan Bowers, I have slow out of turn 14, bit of a tank slapper there. Just ran out wide.
Yeah, few drivers, namely Bowers and Turner, struggling keeping the car on the track, especially out of some of these corners.
Will Thompson get braver here and try to brake a little bit deeper? He knows that the 1's beating him there, but no. The 37 has a lot of patience here right now. I'm surprised that he hasn't tried to get a bit more aggressive on the back of the 56.
Yeah, I guess he's figuring, it's not really worth too much at the moment. You got a reset coming up here in 2 laps time. I guess he feels it's not really worth too much fighting now. Gonna save up your stuff, especially save your moves for later. I think he's kind of realizing where Thompson, where Sheen are kind of winning and losing at each other, and he's been kind of just sitting in the back riding this entire time.
Whoa!
As they come out of turn 8, Sheen, poor exit out of turn 8. Here comes Thompson on the outside of the carousel.
Yeah, you can make this stick if you have a better run than the guy on the inside. But I think
someone's going to have to yield by the time to get to the kink, and I don't think either one wants to.
Nope, Thompson will clear the 1. Great move there. Whoa, he backs out early and catches the 37 off guard. Oh, man.
Yeah, and she actually apologized to the 37, saying he couldn't see his braking zone there. Here comes Carr, though. He's got the run heading out of Canada corner. I think he's going to back off now.
Ooh, deeper on the brakes. 37 runs him a little wide. Bit of contact there. I think Carr just got in the... Whoa.
Oh, it's Carr struggling to get the power down. Similar to what we saw with Bailey Turner. He just jumped on the throttle and the car engine rev. No power down to the asphalt. He's struggling still to get clear on the 1 as Sheen's trying to fight on the outside.
Oh, he's going to hang out there on the rumble strip. That was really dicey. I cannot believe he made that stick. Driving up the hill here for 2nd place.
Oh, man, Sheen has been out there just by about a hair of a bumper. And now he's got to run heading down into turn 1. He's going to still be on the outside. Looks like he's got on the brakes a little bit earlier, surprisingly. Not going to throw it as he knows that that's a better line and going to yield to the 37.
Yeah, I think he was going to try to cross him over, but then just turned in too early and ended up sort of four-wheeling on the rumble strip. That's not going to do you very good. Notably, one driver hitting pit lane, that's Brandon Bowers. Next time by is our caution flag for our stage break. Interesting call.
I guess might as well. I think you figured you might as well try something, being a little bit more towards the back after his some of his incidents. So you're going to try an unorthodox strategy. It doesn't look like anyone else is going to attempt that. So we'll see if that can help him out.
19 laps to go here. At 18 to go, we'll get our caution flag. Give everybody the opportunity to come down pit lane and get a fresh set of tires, which they will all gladly do. Have a look at Riley Thompson. His last lap was 4.3 seconds slower than his best.
It just really comes to show you the incredible amount of wear these guys are dealing with around the track. And even after we're just about to complete 10 laps, which really isn't a whole lot of laps, a lot of mileage considering how long this track is. You look at the 71 of Carwell, fighting for 6th place with Hernandez.
Essentially, we've done 40 laps at Dover, essentially. 4 miles times 10 laps. So it's a lot of tire wear that adds up. But Riley Thompson taking this opportunity. A lap or two ago, he was battling for the race lead. Now he's 2.5 seconds up the road. I'm sure he's wishing that they didn't have a caution so that he could keep advancing this lead.
And I think that car and Sheen are glad there's a caution to kind of reset everything once again, because all three of these guys are going to show some tremendous pace and not a lot of aggression, but definitely the move will show what they got, have what it takes to get it done as caution comes down, as Riley Thompson comes over the hill.
Caution is out for our stage break here at lap number 11. And cautions here are going to take a while. We should get about 2.5, 3 laps under yellow here. So what did we learn? We learned that Thompson, Carr, and Sheen are all basically equally as fast. Sheen's very good at defending. Riley Thompson's very good at being aggressive, and Zach Carr has been waiting in the wings here.
Yeah, he's kind of the big unknown because he really hasn't done a whole lot. We saw him make that move to the inside of Sheen. Once the opportunity presented itself, but other than that, he's not really been poking around at all this run. So he's kind of the big unknown. We don't know where he's particularly good or where he's particularly bad. He's just been kind of chilling out there inside the top 3. And I'm sure now, once we get the second row, I think that's when this 37 is going to start flexing his muscles.
Well, full disclosure, I am nursing a COVID vaccine side effect badly tonight, so I'm going to step away. We'll be back with you for pit stop coverage here in about a half a lap. We'll be right back. Back live from Road America, Outsider Racing League. Round number 12, 18 laps to go, 11 laps complete. With our stage break underway, we'll have the cars come on down pit lane here. Between the front three, I think we all know that those guys are on a level playing field, but is there someone like Bryce Calusa after his first lap spin that could make things interesting with a decent pit stop here?
If he was higher up the order, I mean, I could say that, yeah, he would have been a factor, but being back in 8th, it's going to be kind of tough to tell, because those three, again, as you mentioned, is kind of in another, in their own zip code, really, as far as pace is concerned. And I would definitely put Calusa up there with them, but he's been trying to recover back from his incident with Jeff Wright on lap 1, turn 1. Hasn't quite been able to get back all the positions still, as you mentioned, back in 8th. So, and you really can't do much in pit road because you're going to be getting 4 tires. If you're getting 2 tires at a road course, you're a psychopath.
Yeah, and probably not very smart.
So yeah, I don't think he's going to be doing that. So he's probably going to come out 8th, maybe 7th if he gets a decent pit stop in. And speaking of which, everyone pulling into the box, want to make sure you don't. Oh,
yeah, Carr
missed
his just by a foot or two.
Yeah, so I think that might cost him 2nd place there.
Certainly could. Somebody rolled right through Brandon Bowers, Casey Lakatos, and Carr is rolling off. And yes, Carr will lose a position. 20 of Bryce Calusa gets shuffled out. Really tight pit exit here. So Brandon Bowers has already made his pit stop. Casey Lakatos has not. He will likely have to. He's just out here trying to grab a point, but with the 31 out front, I'm not sure that's going to do him any good.
Yeah, I think he was just in Casey's normal strategy, just rolling on through pit road and then leading a lap. Unfortunately, didn't, because Brandon Bowers is the one that led the lap. Or should be leading the lap once he comes back in. So it's not going to work. He's going to have to come back in. We put to the back of the field.
Interesting note for those watching from home, this the livery that Casey Lakatos has on his car. This is actually the Honda Manufacturing of Alabama paint scheme that was on a Honda Odyssey. Yeah, that's right, a 2018 Honda Odyssey minivan that raced in Grid Life Touring Cup back in 2019. That car has since been in storage with some budget cuts and then the whole pandemic situation. They hope to bring that car back at some point in the near future, back to race in GLTC. But what a sight that was to have a 2018 minivan slicing and dicing with some of the sports cars at Road Atlanta. That was cool.
Yeah, it really is. It's even funnier too because you already got, everyone's already driving fairly small cars like the Honda S2000, Mazda Miatas, and the like, and then you have this gigantic minivan by comparison driving alongside them, trying to outbrake them. It was absolutely hilarious, and the car actually did pretty good, all things considered. You might think it would be pretty poor being a minivan, but it actually ran pretty well. So. Yeah, I do hope to see that car back out on track. I wasn't sure what the situation was with them. I imagine that they had trouble getting that out on track with the pandemic and all. But yeah, I hope to see that back in the near future.
Well, I have to show this just because it's pertinent to. There is the car as it was back at Circuit of the Americas in 2020, and it also raced in Super Lap Battle as well. But cool looking car, that's for sure, and a nice livery that Lakatos has put on that car. All right, so Zach Carr back to 5th, lost a couple spots here with all the shuffling. He'll probably restart 4th, actually, once Casey Lakatos peels off for his pit stop. We'll likely have one more lap until we get the green flag. Bryce Calusa will cycle to 8th. And again, I'm curious to see what he can do in terms of gaining track position. Again, he got turned around in the opening lap after contact with Jeff Wright in turn 1. He has since kind of muscled his way back up inside the top 10, but his progress has started to slow.
Yeah, it looks like he did actually manage to gain one spot on pit stops, but yeah, that's about it seems. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. I think definitely within the realm of possibility, but he's going to have to get through, Chuck Sweeting, Hernandez, and Laughter fairly quickly if he wants to have a shot before Carr, Sheen, and Thompson start to break away. Who knows? You could see Brandon Bowers, maybe him starting in the front. I'm not saying Bowers is a slow driver by any means, but he might be holding up to these guys just a little bit. So I think that may be Calusa's chance to potentially use extra time to try to muscle his way to the front. But I think, again, that Red Bull car is pretty good. It's going to need some track position to get something done.
So 1 to green, lights are off atop the pace car. And we'll re-rack him, restack him. You'll notice that the sun is getting a little bit lower in the sky. which is going to be interesting. I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to get dark, but it's certainly not going to be super bright by the end of the day.
It's 5:22 in Sim.
That's pretty late.
Yeah, it's decently late. Only this track had lights.
Race cars don't need headlights because the track is always lit. Well, not Road America. That's why you race sports cars here. Man, racing a 12-hour or 24-hour race here would be really, really cool, but I think they've got limits on when they can run cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I did one time. I did do a race like that. It was awesome. It was really fun to do. I did an R Factor.
I raced here. I feel like you were, maybe not. I raced Porsche Cups here one time. That raced into the darkness, and it was the most serene.
Oh,
thing.
yes, yeah, with the supercars as well. Yeah. Yeah, that was an awesome race. I did mine from night to day, and it was awesome just seeing the sunrise as you're coming up and over the hill. It was great. It looked really pretty, really awesome. They should definitely do it in real life, if it's possible, with the whatever regulations they have in place.
So the long extended caution flag here. This is going to put us right at the halfway point of the race when we restart. So Brandon Bowers will be the race leader.
Oh, and actually, sorry to cut you off. An interesting point here. Halfway points will be given at the end of lap 14. So you guys have one lap to race for those halfway points.
Oh, that sounds like perfectly reasonable, and that will have no conflict whatsoever with anybody on track.
So yeah, I was curious to see when the caution would come out, how that would play out, and it's going to play out, I guess, maybe not to the race admin's idea perfectly, but I think it's going to play out perfectly for us. Everyone's got fresh tires and quite a bit of points on the lines. What could go wrong?
A lot, actually. So we'll be coming to 15 laps to go, which is about 33 minutes of racing. Predictions and pick me a winner, Finian. Who you got?
This is a really tough question, honestly. You know, a lot of times you have that like one car that's particularly dominant. I mean, you would almost want to argue Riley Thompson, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna pick him because he seems like the most dominant car. But I would say really, there's some decent picks to be had.
So I'm gonna say that the one car gets it. I really like how aggressive he can be on the brakes and not give up any time. I just hope that the longevity is there. And he's starting on the inside. I like that position. I think he'll be aggressive, and if he can get out front, I think he might be able to just hang on to it from here on out, provided that Riley Thompson doesn't get any more creative than he already has been.
Yeah, well, we all know what happens to people who are aggressive.
Aggressive goes around. Took me a second.
In the one's case.
I've got COVID vaccine side effect brain going on. My 5G install is pretty slow. So I'm still running on like 128 kilobytes per second until my 5G chip is fully enhanced. All right, time to go. That's a joke, by the way, for everybody watching. Get vaccinated. As we come up the hill, green flag, 15 laps to go here from Road America. Bowers in command. Good restart for Riley Thompson, not so good for Liam Sheen.
And the media is going to try to cut off the 56 of Thompson. He's going to immediately try to switch back to the inside. Can't quite get there.
Whoa, trouble. 64 car spinning in turn one. The 74 also collected. And Chuck Sweeting goes around.
Yeah, that was Chuck Sweeting, the one that started that, and Kalusa caught up in turn one incident again.
Yeah, nothing Kalusa could have done to miss that. Let's go back again. Look at how it started. The 74 gets on the brakes a little bit too late, gets into the back of the 64, turns him around, tags the 20. Not his night, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he's not a happy camper with that incident, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, 74 cars again around at turn 3. Back out front, 31 Bowers, Riley Thompson, Liam Sheen 1, 2, 3. Zach Carr still 5th after the restart. Jonathan Hernandez up to 4th.
Yeah, he's able to sneak his way on by up into that 4th place. See if Hernandez is able to stretch his legs a little bit. Ooh, got a little bit sideways out of turn 7, but heading down. Bowers still up in front. I think the big question mark is going to be how long can the 31 keep his car up in the front of the field?
Oh, the 19 car sideways and almost looped it in the background. Here comes Carwile, taking that opportunity to drive right by the 19 and take that spot away from fifth.
I think sideways was an understatement. I'm not sure if you caught the drift he was holding through the carousel. He was full on sideways as he closed around coming out of the carousel.
And for the race lead, here comes Thompson.
We're going to try to have a look to the outside to see if he's in the Canada corner. You have 31 going defensive, over-under for the 56, trying to get on the power.
Whoa, checks. Hip check once, hip check twice. Here comes Sheen.
Woohoo! Trying to get that power. And also swing out left for Thompson. Now it's a matter of trying to get back in behind this 31. Bowers putting up a fight. Thompson sideways trying to find a way around.
Is there any doubt that road racing is the best racing you can have here in stock cars? Look at this stuff. This is spectacular.
Yeah, great decision by NASCAR to add some more road courses because we can get more stuff like this. Looking at Sheen now trying to take a double slipstream, trying to have a move to the inside of the 56. Going to get a great job done as Bowers got on the brakes fairly early.
He can maybe get 2 for 1 here if he can carry the speed up to turn 3. Thompson still even on the outside, but now the one car deep into turn 3. Bowers slips, and Sheen goes back to the race lead. Power move there. Here's the 37 now for third.
Yeah, we talked about Sheen being very strong in the braking zone, showed exactly why there. Now, car, as you mentioned, drag race for him with Thompson for third place, and Thompson's really been held up by Bowers. Let's see if Carr can try to find a way on through as well.
Oh, he's way out wide. Lock up for a couple drivers out front. 31 runs wide. Whoa. Carr off-roading a little bit.
Just went a little bit too far off the tracks. Now going to drop back to fourth. And how about Ryan Carwile? We're talking about him. Mr. Consistent, finding his way up inside the top 5 for the first time tonight. Might have a shot at getting some even more spots here.
Riley Thompson is all over Liam Sheen here. We've seen this. This is some rehashed content already. They've done this once or twice already.
And now it's really arguably where it's going to count the most. Earlier it was kind of just an exhibition of these guys just trying to figure out where they can place the car, where they can beat their competitors. Now it's going to be where it counts. It's not going to be another reset as Thompson gets a great run through the carousel.
Here he comes. Ooh, blocked by the one. Oh,
to the grass, trying to keep him in behind. That was fairly aggressive.
And some wheel hop out of the 56 as well once he got on the brakes. This is getting really spicy for the race lead. And I don't think Bowers has the pace to stay with these two. So unless something changes here at the front, I think these two are going to be the ones battling for the race win. Thompson slides there just a little bit, but Sheen's so good at driving defensively. Bowers off course.
Yeah, he's going to drop 1, 2, maybe 3 spots here as Carwell, Carr, and now Hernandez rocking around him.
Joshua Collins in trouble. This is at the exit of turn 13, and he just runs out wide up onto the curbing and to get the concrete.
Yeah, that penultimate corner catches out a lot of guys, especially on the exit when you're pushing so hard, so he goes around.
Robert Gaba hitting pit lane for unknown reasons, but back to the front. Far from over.
Thompson, another great run. Gonna try to go to the right-hand side. Sheen trying to squeeze him out of it, but gonna still give him the lane.
And now into the braking zone again. The one car's been better on the brakes almost every time. Oh, Thompson's in really hot. Can he get the car slowed down? He can't. He's gonna run wide. Here comes the one car back to the inside.
I was gonna say, I would be amazed because we've seen Sheen. He's already been a driver that's been on the limits of the braking. Thompson just absolutely threw in there trying to get the move done and a lockup as well. That's not gonna do good for his tires.
Wow, look at that big lockup there. The one car managed to keep it tucked right around the apex. Great racing up here at the front of the field between the two TDR Fords. When will it end, or will it?
I don't think it's going to end. It may have a chance of ending once we see Thompson get out in front. I would say he's arguably the faster of these two, but again, Sheen's been no slouch, especially when it comes to defending, because this car up in front is a force to be reckoned with. So Thompson's going to be a little bit creative here, trying to get around him.
Thompson's carrying better speed, but he's not as good on the brakes. That's been his Achilles heel so far. He's better on the brakes until he gets alongside Sheen, and then it's like Liam finds another 2 inches of pedal travel and gets the car stopped that much better when he's under attack.
Yeah, there was one incident where I saw him lock up earlier. Other than that, he's been flawless when it comes down to getting into the zones, just getting the car woe down, not in a very undramatic fashion. So he's been phenomenal at that part of the racing, and it's been really the thing keeping him up in front. Again, Thompson's gonna have to try to do something, maybe arguably get a little bit aggressive with the one if he wants to have a shot at the win.
Into turn 1, 12 laps to go. Not missed anything out back. There's a couple battles formulating here and there, but nothing quite as volatile as the race lead.
Here's the thing. So Liam Sheen and Thompson ran 12.8. Carl Mine ran a 12.7, so he's closing in. But for Zach Carr ran a 12.1. So ran almost 0.7 of a second faster than the leader. So he's closing back in.
11th place, Casey Lakatos, Charles Wembley, and Bryce Calusa, Bailey Turner. That's for 7th.
Yeah, Turner also, we saw him go have a few off-track excursions trying to make up from that. Now with some fresh rubber underneath him, and Calusa also just a little bit irritated with the way his night's gone.
Big dive from Steve Loving up the inside of turn 5. He'll get a spot on Ray Massey. Liam Sheen beginning to stretch it out now, 0.6 of a second on Riley Thompson, who's sort of riding the rim in the carousel.
Yeah, Thompson trying to aim for that late apex, got a decent run out of there as well. Gets a little bit of grass on the limit. Wow, and he gained a huge amount of time through the kink compared to Liam Sheen. Sheen was a little bit too cautious through there. Thompson just chucked the car in there and made it stick.
Coming to 11 laps to go now. It's 3 car lengths between the two. Keeping an eye on Carwile and Carr in behind. The quickest driver of the top 5 the last time around was actually Carr. He was 0.6 better than Carwile last time around. So that 37 car is certainly quick, but he's got a lot of track position to make up to get back to the race lead.
Yeah, and how much is that going to use up his tires as well? That's going to be the big thing to consider. I mean, I'm sure the top 2 pushing quite a bit, but Carr's trying to catch up to them, and then also has to get past all of them as well at some point. So as they come this time across the line, looks to be a similar story. Actually, no, last time by, no, looking at the wrong chart.
Well,
last
here
time
comes
by still car was quicker.
Oh, Thompson late on the brakes again. That was almost a touch there. Hernandez is off in turn number 1. Things are getting real exciting here, and Riley Thompson is tucked right behind the spoiler of Liam Sheen. Here we go again.
Yes, he's tried this so many times, he's going to probably have to be a little bit more established alongside, and definitely cannot afford to outbrake the one, otherwise he's going to go flying off the track. Sheen, ooh, lockup from the one, going to go a little bit wide. Here comes Thompson with the run.
And just like the mistake that cost Thompson the lead a few laps ago, it will cost Sheen the lead that time by, and that was the first real mistake we've seen Sheen make, at least one that cost him positions up here.
Yeah, that was a big mistake to do. We'll see now he's got to have to be on the attack. He's been very good at defense, but now the attack, haven't quite seen the 1v2 aggressive. We'll see what he can do now in behind the 56 and try to chase him back down.
Well, we've seen Thompson make his fair share of mistakes, but has he learned at this point not to make those mistakes? Because if he makes them again, Liam Sheen will go right back by, but it's only going to happen a certain number of times before drivers wise up and stop driving off the racetrack. So it's really only a matter of time until somebody figures it out, and it might be Riley Thompson now. So Sheen better get rolling here and pressure that 56 as best he can. Wobbling a little bit on corner exit, kind of spinning the rear tires there, Finian.
Yeah, and also just going to make note of right in behind Carwell and Carr, not too far off. See them all sharing the same shot now.
That's a good point. We're going to have 10 laps to go, which, like I said, that's 40 laps at Dover. That's how far it is. It's a long way from home, even though the number is pretty small.
Last lap through, Carwell was actually faster than Carr by about 0.3 of a second. So this 71, he's no slouch. these later stages. He's actually closing up on Sheen still through the first corner.
Jonathan Hernandez down to pit lane. There's Bryce Galusa on Bailey Turner. These two have been going at each other once or twice already.
Yeah, battle for 5th position between these two guys.
Feel for Galusa. I think if he had another caution to get right back up to the front, he might be a force to be reckoned with, but right now it's just battle for 5th.
And drag race with Bailey Turner in the 24. He made up a huge amount of time under braking to turn 1, and right there again also, as it looks like the 24 is going to concede.
Bit of a lockup there for the 20, but they'll keep it for the majority of the corner on course. Thompson's lead expanded to 1.3 seconds, and now Sheen under fire from Carwile and Carp.
Yeah, it looks like Sheen's just continuing to drop here, which is not what he needs. Not just to keep touch with Thompson up ahead, but got to deal with Carwile and Carp now starting to put pressure on behind him.
I just can't help but think this isn't over yet. I mean, Thompson has not been consistent today, and I don't think we're over by any stretch.
Yeah, this is similar lead to what he had earlier on in the race, if not maybe just a little bit larger. Than we saw him grab that off down into turn number 8, and yeah, definitely have a chance with 10 laps to go. A lot can still happen, especially once the tires start to wear off.
Laps ticking down. Thompson's lead still growing. And Liam Sheen coming to pit lane, cars following. This is a really interesting strategy here, Finian.
Yeah, interesting stuff indeed. So I guess these guys may have to come down an extra time to pit lane. I imagine that's the only reason. You're not going to probably want to come down for tires. I can't imagine it's that bad.
Well, they're running about 2.5, 3 seconds off pace. It's not, I don't think it'll totally make you drive back up to the lead, but we'll see what Riley Thompson does now. With the 2nd and 4th place cars peeling off, that puts pressure on Riley to come hit pit lane, because he's already lost about 2.5 seconds worth of time based on that pit stop strategy for them.
I'll have to see how he is going to respond, because again, if you're going to respond, you're going to have to respond quickly, considering there's not too many laps at the track. So you're going to lose a lot of mileage. You're talking about just, the laps, while not being long, you lose a lot of the mileage. So it's one extra lap these guys in behind. They've got some fresher rubber to work with.
So Riley Thompson trying to set 9 perfect laps. We're expecting that he would also come down to pit lane for another set of tires before the end of this race. Still 20 minutes to go. Yeah, I have to imagine, if not only for fuel, your tires are just going to be so far off by the end that it's probably going to be worth taking for Mr. Feelgoods here towards the end.
Yeah, big thing's going to be now for Liam Sheen. He's got a chance at using those fresh tires to his advantage and making up this time to eventually overtake Thompson by the time he comes in.
I bet you he is on it every moment for the next lap and a half to try to beat Riley Thompson at his own game tonight. These two have been very, very even when they're racing. As soon as Thompson gets out front, he begins to stretch that lead. The one strength is in his defense.
Thompson are working through the last few corners. We have to see, is he going to answer the call to not only Liam Sheen, but also the 37 of Zach Carr.
So on to the front straightaway here. Here he comes.
Yep.
And I'll bet you Ryan Carwile, Carwile's going to stay out. So he will continue to make laps, and he also just led a lap, his first lap of the night, which will obviously help add to his points figure as we head towards the chase.
Yeah, he's just been really solid as putting these cars near the front of the field towards the end of these races. It's been a fantastic run for him. I am waiting for him to finally get a win, though. I think it's going to be a matter of time for him.
So Thompson is into the box. Where is Liam Sheen? Working through turn 14 already and coming up onto the front straightaway.
Thompson still waiting for the right sides to drop. There he goes. He's the first pit stall. He's just going to be immediately out and away, able to accelerate up to speed for Liam Sheen, though. He's coming flying in a hurry, going to completely overtake the 56. No ifs, ands, or buts, as Sheen has a big lockup into turn 1. Oh, that's going to cost him.
Oh, that was a big mistake there for Liam Sheen. He had this race in his hands and just threw it all away there. It's not totally done yet. Now there's Zach Carr, the back of Riley Thompson, who we know is going to pressure the 56, but is he as fast, especially with a lap already on the tires for the 37?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you could argue that the tire's already up to 10th for him, so we'll see if he can try to use that to his advantage, put pressure on Riley Thompson, if not trying to get a move done. Remember, he didn't really race too aggressively in behind these guys. He's kind of just riding around that first run. Let's see if he can stretch his legs now and get something done, as he almost gets into the back of Thompson down into turn 5.
I think Thompson, with 1 lap fresher tires, that 1 lap is fairly significant around here. So as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he should be in a spot to just drive away. But we've seen him make enough mistakes tonight to just know that it can happen at any moment and take away any advantage he has.
Especially with some pressure in behind from the 37 of Carr, who's keeping touch with him.
Carr was in a lower gear, trying to get more acceleration, but at the cost of rear tire temp. And there's some lap traffic up the road too that could throw a wrench into things.
Yeah, I think honestly, at this point, I think probably tires probably the last thing that the 37 is thinking of. He's trying to use them as much as he can. Car up ahead is Casey Lakatos in the 50.
Bryce Calusa, Jonathan Hernandez is for 8th.
He's going to work his way on by for one more spot. Ryan Carwell in the pits, as well as Ben Laughter up ahead. So slowly but surely, everyone coming in for their second stop this run.
Thompson looking really, really good that time through. 7 laps to go. And now, knowing he's got a slight tire advantage, that's going to take some of the pressure off, especially when you see that gap growing to Zach Carr. You're not, whoa, as I say that, a big slide out of turn 3. Never mind.
Yeah, again, I think, you know, there is that advantage, so you do have some kind of ease of mind with that, but again, still, Zach Carr is a pretty quick road course driver, so definitely not a slouch when it comes to this type of racing, and considering he's right in behind, even though it is 1 lap, that's not quite as much as he would probably hope to have an advantage over the 37, and he's clearly seeing the pressure, while not exactly getting to him, he's making these small little slip-ups here and there.
Yeah, if he continues to slide the rear tires like he did at the exit of turn 3, that lead will come down. And already you see Carr close in significantly through that middle sector.
And looks as catching up on the lap car, or sorry, not lap car, sorry, this actually Casey Lakatos is still in the lead. Is yet to come down to pit lane.
Oh, big bobble there by Thompson. But Carr is not going to be able to clear the 50 at the same point. Ooh, big cut through the kink. Climbed right sides up on top of the curb. But I think he still gained overall in that exchange.
Yeah, Thompson lost quite a bit of time trying to get past Casey Lakatos, who did not have a great run through Canada Corner.
He pushed wide there too. And Liam Sheen is... Before, he was battling the 37, but now he and the 37 are best friends. He wants that Carr machine to go run up and battle Thompson to bring him back into the mix. I think if Liam Sheen can get in front of the 56, this race turns totally upside down. But with the 56 out front, I think the pace is just there for Riley to just drive away.
Yeah, that's the big thing, though, is getting that one car up in front. He's been really good at defense. The attacking seems to be more what he's kind of lacking in comparison to the 56, but it's kind of the opposite.
About 12.5 minutes of racing left. Riley Thompson has been out front for 9 of the 23 laps. Zach Carr has not led a single lap yet, believe it or not. Liam Sheen has led 7. handful of others leading a spare lap here or there, but this is the largest gaps we've seen between the front runners pretty much the entire race.
Yeah, they're all still, which is amazing considering they're all still pretty close together. There's Ryan Carwell who stayed out. I'm surprised he decided to stay on an extra lap. I'm not sure if that's going to help him or not. We'll see. He can try to chase back down up to Liam Sheen. I don't think he's quite got the chance of the win at this point.
Casey Licata still on the one-stop strategy, has slid back to 5th. He's the only driver to have tried that strategy.
I mean, I hope, I mean, for his sake, I hope he can make it, because, yeah, that's a risky move, especially with stock cars. You know, you're relying on such little handling already, and then you need the tires as much as you can. And when you don't have the tires, you're basically just going to be sliding over having a severe amount of understeer through some of these corners.
Thompson looking very composed now in comparison to where he was earlier and into the halfway point of this race, but now it seems like he's hitting his marks without too much drama.
Yeah, that was just a matter really for the 56. It's a matter of just not making the mistake. See car go a little bit off the track. They're trying to push to catch back up to Riley Thompson, but now it's looking like the gap's slowly expanding.
5 laps to go, about 20 miles left of racing here at Road America. And Riley Thompson has led the most laps today and is trying to put more distance between himself and Zach Carr and Liam Sheen, who have been the main competitors and contenders in this 28-lap race.
Taking a look at the last laps between the Riley Thompson, a 1:10.9 to Zach Carr's 1:12.5. So almost a second and a half faster for the 56.
Here's Casey Licata's losing 5th spot to Bryce Calusa.
Yeah,
Licata's still on the one-stop strategy.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where Casey's going to end up. So before the green flag pit stop started, he was running in 10th place. So that's kind of where he's looking to be at, if not better, in a better position to that. By the time this race wraps up, so we'll see if he's going to either stay there or potentially drop back further. He's got, let's see, he's got about 20 seconds between himself and 10th place at the moment. Yeah, he's also running in a very low gear. He's running in a very low gear out of some of these corners to avoid spinning the tires. He's trying to make these tires last as long as possible.
And potentially also fuel saving too. His last lap was a 2:21.3. which is 11 seconds off of what the leader ran last time by. So he's definitely being conservative with the equipment. Riley Thompson has not been conservative. Look at what he just ran.
Yeah, he's been setting he's been the fastest car by about a second, I think, compared to everyone else. Last lap 3, he's been on an absolute tear. I think he's just trying to get the gap to expand. We were talking about him making a slight mistake here and there. I think he's trying to just get out there, run as fast laps as possible. If he makes a mistake, he's got a little bit of a gap to work with to keep the others at bay. Also, an update for Bailey Turner. He lost connection a few laps ago. It's unfortunate because he's running up inside of that top. He's running like around 5th or 6th. When that happens, unfortunate end to his day.
4 laps to go, 16 miles left, 4 miles ticking down at a time, and Thompson's lead is now up to 3.6 seconds, and his strategy and his pace have finally come together. As long as he keeps it pointed in the right direction, it's looking pretty inevitable. But you have to hand it to Liam Sheen. The amount of effort that he put into defending earlier in this race, he looks really, really solid, but I also think that he's probably in danger of getting passed by Ryan Carwell here in the next 2 laps.
Yeah, Carwell with, I think, what is that, 1-2 lap fresher tires? Yeah, 2 laps fresher tires, then Sheen up ahead. And we've seen Sheen have a little bit of a lockup or two, so the tires aren't doing quite particularly well in comparison to the 71. But yeah, I would say even that first lockup we saw from Sheen in turn 5, that wasn't too particularly bad. Lost a spot. And looked like he's on a decent strategy to keep himself up in front of Thompson, but that off in turn 1 really killed him.
Yeah, I think this race would have panned out much differently had he been out front and not had that mistake when he had just overtaken Thompson fresh out of the pits But Ryan Carwile now, again, points leader. The consistency has been the key for him this year. Look where he started back in 13th place. He did not have the pace in qualifying, but here in the race, doing just fine.
Again, doing fine. It's exactly why he's been the points leader. Picking him up and putting him down. He's actually going to expand the points lead as Bryce Calusa's car putting behind him. Actually, how about that? Bryce Calusa able to recover to 5th place. I'm sure he's going to be disappointed what could have been had he not been involved in other people's issues. But I think 5th place, considering what happened, is a pretty good finishing position.
Yeah, he got wrecked twice in turn 1.
Yeah.
And still managed to come back for 5th, so that is a testament to the day that he's had. Tell you what, that 71 car looked pretty scary on the brakes a minute ago. He was wobbling around just a little bit, but he's definitely quicker than Sheen. And I would say that Sheen's time on the podium here is going to be short-lived.
It's a matter for Carwile just to not make a mistake. He's been fairly good at doing that so far in this series. Entirely a man that makes very few mistakes. So we'll see if he can get it done here. He's got 3 laps to get it done on Liam Sheen.
But Sheen's been amazing at defense. I mean, that's what his whole shtick tonight was, being hard to pass. I mean, as much as I said this is inevitable, I don't really know if that is accurate. He's been the Ryan Newman tonight, making that car very wide.
Just under braking, I think this is the fresher tires right there for Carwile coming all the way up to the back of the one. Oh wow, I hear a Casey Licata. He's coasting down to turn 1.
Yeah, I think he's trying to make something work that may or may not actually work.
And just to give you an idea of how far he just went past the start-finish line, then coasted all the way down the straightaway into turn 1. So he is really cutting it close.
Yeah, I'm not really sure that this was a strategy to play.
Yeah, I think he's trying to hope that he's got the livery of a Honda Odyssey. I think he's going to hope he gets the fuel mileage of a Honda Odyssey. Trying to make it work.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but that's a V8 pushrod Honda Odyssey, and it's not going to do all that great on the fuel mileage calculator. This goes to show you how good Liam Sheen's been defending. Ryan Carwile was 0.8 of a second faster last time by, and he still hasn't figured out how to get past this number 1 car.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of can Sheen hold him on for another 2.5 laps to head onto the back straightaway. Again, Carwile's got just a slight advantage to use against the one of Liam Sheen, but as you mentioned, he's been so good at defending, making that car as wide as possible. Just parking the bus up through a lot of these corners is just nearly not in many ways that Carwile can try to find a way by, unless he decides to get just a little bit aggressive on the back of that one. We haven't really seen anyone give the bumper.
No, it's
been a little under scrape, but
other than the issues we had on the start and restart, we haven't really seen any collisions yet today. As we hit 2 laps to go. Now for Carwile, I don't think he's going to see this position as a must-get. So I don't think he's going to wreck the car over this, but Liam Sheen might be willing to be a bit more wild on the defense.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think Carwile is going to be really a driver that's bigger picture. So he'll try his best, but won't, as mentioned, won't quite force the issue for Sheen. Though I think as a driver that is not running full time, so he's going to try to do his best, hold on to the podium.
Doing a great job. Out front, though, it's still Riley Thompson. This lead is now just shy of 5 seconds. Now it's over 5 seconds as he works through turn number 7. Been a pretty impressive day with all the mistakes. He was able to recover from them, get the fresh tires on the car, and since then has kept the car on the racetrack and pointed in the right direction.
That's really solid, and now he's got, what, a 5-second gap to work with back to Zach car, so he's going to make it around, bring the car home in one piece. And speaking of which, not a single dent on that car, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh. Still hanging 10 there through the kink, that's for sure.
He doesn't care, he's got 5 seconds. I think he wants to make it 6 seconds.
And only only takes about a half a second to throw it into the concrete down there, so he's got to be real careful. So coming back to the white flag, there's trouble. Jonathan Hernandez in turn number 8 has had an off. Go back and see what happened to him.
I think just threw it in there just a little bit too hard.
Yeah, locked it up. We've seen this. That's exactly what happened to Riley Thompson earlier in the race. That lost him the lead. And for Riley Thompson, white flag one more time around. And there is the battle for third. Coming up over the crest, Liam Sheen, Ryan Carwile.
Mostly been stable, the gap between these two as Carl throws it into turn 1. Ooh, a little sideways as well.
Good battle here for P3. And again, Carwile just can't get off the corner. You see he slipped there, got up on the curbing, and that's going to let the one run away. And given the pace that the 71 had over the one car, again, I've been super impressed with how Liam's been driving tonight, mostly on the defense, and it's been working out.
So has to hold on for half a lap, goes ahead into turn 5.
Now it would just be painful to lose this spot. Slip there.
Don't speak
Whoa!
too soon. Oh no! Gets hooked off the 71. They managed to keep going the right direction, but that could have been ugly.
That definitely could have been ugly, and they almost got hooked together there. Sheen gathers it back up and continues. The pressure is certainly being felt, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely get the heart racing. You can see 71 throw it into the inside and turn. They're going to door each other, heading on through the one. Going to get a little bit of gravel as they head side by side in the carousel.
Sheen's going to muscle his way back on by, though. This is certainly far from over. 71 got in there a bit too deep. I don't think he meant to get in there that deep last time, but the gloves are off here for third place.
Imagine so as he got really some really solid passing opportunity here as they head through the kink and heading towards Canada Corner.
But for Riley Thompson, who is out up front, he's going to come on through. Back at Circuit of the Americas in February, he went to victory lane at a road course. And today he's going to do the same thing again. It was trials and tribulations, slipping and sliding all over the place, but Riley Thompson comes up the hill, and Riley Thompson is going to win at Road America. Zach Carr will finish in second, Sheen and Carwile. Third and fourth. Who will have third? Who will have fourth? Liam Sheen is going to hang on. What a drive by the one.
Yeah, great driving, great battle between both these guys as well. You know, it could have gotten ugly at many different points on that last lap, but both these guys keeping it respectful till the end.
No other major battles to speak of other than this one here. Robert Gaba and Joshua Collins.
Yeah, Gaba without a hood. As Collins trying to drag race him up to turn 6.
Whoop.
Whoa! As the 76 is going to hang sideways out at turn number 6. Oh, and I see Keith Okada's off in the grass as he's trying to battle fuel economy as he works up through the final corner. Looks like he's able to just save enough.
Well, where was he, 10th before?
Yes.
So he gained one spot.
I mean, hey, it worked. Worked out in the end.
It sure did. So Riley Thompson gets it done. Going back to our keys of the race, road ringers. Thompson was one of them. And doing the burnouts in the runoff area, which is a road course tradition. And celebrating there for Riley Thompson. All right, we're going to talk to our third place finisher, Liam Sheen, who led some laps early. Was super defensive, and it was a lot of fun to watch you and Riley battle it out lap after lap there, Liam, but just came home shy of the win by about 14 seconds, but that doesn't tell you the whole story. Did the race all sort of fall apart when Riley came out of the pits and he messed up turn 1 there? Because it looked like you had a really good piece.
I don't know. It was a ton of fun, but yeah, kind of kicking myself for that. But then the thing is, if I held up Riley too much, because he was obviously quicker. Anytime he got in front of me and didn't make a mistake, he pulled away so much. But I think it would have been a balance between probably trying to hold off Riley and then just realizing that, hey, maybe I'm not quick enough to hold him off. Maybe I should just let him go and battle Zach for it. But that cost me second. That's probably the only thing I think it cost me was second place. But I don't think I really had anything for Riley.
Well, it was a really fun race to watch, that's for sure. This racetrack always sort of lends itself to lots of tire wear and that sort of thing. How bad did the cars handle, and how quickly did it get to that point?
It wasn't terribly handling. It's just the thing is, if you smoke the tires like I did into one, it takes probably a lap to cool them down and reset and go at it again. But the cars drove not bad for stock cars. They're boats, but they didn't drive terribly, but they weren't great, obviously. So I mean, they weren't horrible. Tires were definitely a factor, but I don't think it's also like consistency and stuff, and it's really tough to try to outpace Riley.
Well, it was a really strong run. It started third, finished third. Liam, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations. We'll see you next time. Move on now to Zach Carr, who finished in second. He never led a lap this race, Zach, but you were close at a few points. Mostly watching the battle up front between the 1 and the 56. Take us through what you saw at the windshield tonight.
Yeah, it was a crazy one. It's all started bad on lap 1 when everybody kind of threw it to turn a little bit harder than they should have, and I got a little bit into that quarter panel of the one car, and it did a little bit more damage to my car than it should have. But it wasn't too bad. Kind of just rode behind them for most of that first run. I felt like I was a little bit better than both of them on that first run. I felt like Riley made a little bit more mistakes than he thought he was going to do, obviously, and Liam, he made a couple mistakes, and I was a little bit quicker than him. Finally got by Liam before the stage. Then I gave that back to him under pit stops because I just messed that up. So on the restart, forgot to put my brake bias back to a little bit higher up so it would not wheel hop into the corner, and I forgot to do that, so I gave up all the spots I wheel hopped a couple times. It just didn't go my way tonight, but I'm just happy to come out in second place.
Zach, congratulations. P2, not a bad night. Started second, finished second. Thanks for talking.
Thank you, Kyle.
Move on now to Riley Thompson, the race winner tonight in the number 56. Started first, finished first. Our top three all finished where they started. Riley, that doesn't tell the whole story. You and Liam and Zach were really battling tooth and nail for all 28 laps. Take us through your perspective of the night and how the strategy played out in your favor.
First off, I'm not sure if this is biased or not. I hope it isn't, but if that isn't great racing, I don't know what the hell it is. Because going out with Liam and Zach was honestly amazing. All of us gave each other plenty of room, and then when I forget who it was that stayed out, but all four of us being able to go for it, even on a restart, and one of them on old tires, and no inches given, but it was still just enough room. I mean, that was probably the most fun I've had on the service in the past 5 years.
I mean, it looked like a lot of fun. You and Liam trading blows back and forth and making mistakes. It seemed like the second half of the race, you cleaned up a whole bunch, and that's what helped you win this race. Take me through the first half. What led to those mistakes? Was it just overcooking it, or was there pressure from behind that made that happen?
I think a little bit of it is a lot of the time with these tires, if you slide them a little bit, you really can't correct your mistakes, otherwise you're going to start melting them. So when I went off and gave Liam the lead, it was just me trying to go straight and not burn those off. But that final stint where I started pulling away, I actually turned off my relative and instantly got like a 10-second lap. So I think that was definitely a big part of it, making sure I was actually focusing on the apexes, because once I did that, it felt like it was coming together way better.
O'Reilly, congratulations. It was a super strong run tonight. A well-earned win, and that was a lot of fun to watch, so thanks for talking.
Thanks for broadcasting.
Thank you. Finian, final thoughts on Road America. Always a blast to come here. Always a blast to watch racing at the National Park of Speed. Road racing never is disappointing to watch, that's for sure.
No, definitely it isn't. And Riley said it right. There was some fantastic racing between himself, Zach Carr, Liam Sheehan, and Brandon Bowers. Those guys are just absolutely going at it. A ton of respect across all those guys, and even also want to throw in Ryan Carwell too. That was a great battle at the end with them. So there's some fantastic stuff up near the front of the field, exactly what you wanted to see. And it was awesome because you never really until the second, really until the last 5-10 laps, you didn't really have an idea of who's going to win. There's so many good cars up near the front. So just some great stuff here from Road America.
Fantastic racing at the National Park of Speed. We'll see you, I believe, in 2 weeks' time for the next event. Yes, it'll be the 29th at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the Magic Mile on SimTV. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.